Hello, mighty companions. This is Earl Purdy. Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles, especially oriented for Course in Miracles students who are studying the course. Welcome to A Course in Miracles on Facebook Live. Coming through. Let's let our mighty companions come in, because we're going to cover a really deep section that's talking a lot about the body and how the body affects our spiritual awareness. Guess what? You and me, we're not that far apart. Yeah, we're breathing the same heart. We've been together from the start. Welcome, mighty companions. Welcome, mighty companions. Welcome to A Course in Miracles hardcore version. Can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Welcome to A Course in Miracles hardcore Course in Miracles. We're going to be on page 390. Let's come together and understand that Christ is born inside of every man. He's waiting for us to choose him as ourselves. This is Earl Purdy. Welcome to Hardcore Course. When you choose him, you know you choose me too. Everyone can live a part of you, and then you will know that love is who I am. Yes, guess what? You and me, we're not that far apart. 390, 390, page 390. Yeah. Tell me, can you hear it? Welcome to A Course in Miracles. Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles. Remember, you don't have to believe it. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to welcome it. Some of it you're going to find hard to believe and quite startling. This is Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles. We're going to be on page 390, The Little Garden. 390, The Little Garden, in the Foundation for Inner Peace version of the course. Chapter 18, The Passing of the Dream, The Little Garden, page 390. Remember, this is Hardcore Course in Miracles. It's aimed primarily at actively studying Course in Miracles students. I'm going to assume that you're familiar with the Course in Miracles. Guess what? You and me are not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. We've been together from the start, you and I. Tell me, can you hear it? Can you hear what I'm saying, mighty companions? Can you feel it? Put your arms around it. Know that we are one. 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 Yeah, we are one. Welcome to A Course in Miracles. Page 390, Course in Miracles. I am you, and you are me. I want to thank you for joining me, mighty companions. Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles. Hardcore Course in Miracles. Hardcore Course in Miracles. Hardcore Hardcore Course in Miracles. Hardcore Course in Miracles. I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles. I am assuming that I'm dealing with Course in Miracles students. Hardcore Course in Miracles, it's a presentation that's primarily aimed at people who are studying A Course in Miracles. So I'm going to be talking to you and doing this as if you are actively studying A Course in Miracles and you see it as a path you really are devoted to or want to be devoted to. Everyone's welcome to watch it, but like I said, it's primarily aimed at actively studying Course in Miracles students. I'm going to do a section tonight called The Little Garden. And this is a very powerful section, and it's a very deep section, and it has a lot of symbology in it. So it's going to call for you more than usual to get out of the analytical mind. We know that the Course in Miracles teaches that you do not learn the Course in Miracles through analyzing it. And that's why I do not analyze in my presentations of the Course. I'm a messenger. What we want to do is hear as clearly as we can what we're being told so that we can remember the instructions that we're receiving about how to see things. Your ego, which is the part of your mind that analyzes and judges, it's going to be lost in the Course in Miracles. I'm going to tell you that right now. And it's not what's needed in order to get the Course. The Course is constantly telling us, remember this, don't forget this, remember this, don't forget this. So it's giving us a perception that we're supposed to remember. And the little garden is in chapter 18. It's on page 390. It's in chapter 18, The Passing of the Dream, page 390, The Little Garden. Now, as you know, I'm going to follow the instructions of the author of the Course, and Jesus is the author of the Course. And the instructions are to hear this and to read this slowly. This is about hearing it and really getting it. So I'm not going to speed through this, as you well know, and I'm so glad that you're all online, and I see all of your comments, and I look at your comments even after I finish doing the presentation. We are here live so we can interact with each other. Take a moment and share the video. I would like those of you who believe in what we're doing and support what we're doing to also help extend the message right now by taking a moment and sharing the video on your timeline. If you look right next to the comments, it has where you can share. So just share it. Let's get it out there. Let's get more mighty companions joining with us. So first thing I want to ask you to do is to take a moment and take a deep breath. There's a lot of activity because we're anxious to see each other and we're glad to see each other, but let's take a moment to tune in and let's take a moment to just take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath and tune in to each other. Take a moment to feel each other. Okay, thank you for sharing. I appreciate so much when you all share. I need your help. We are one. So each sentence in the Course in Miracles, you could spend 3 hours on each sentence. The very first sentence in the section called The Little Garden, which is dealing specifically with the ego and also the body and how we use the body's senses. It says, do you know that it is only the awareness of the body that makes love seem limited? It's going to take a minute for you to hear that. What makes love seem limited? What is it that makes love seem limited? What is it that creates limited love? What is it in our experience that creates limited love? According to the Course in Miracles, what makes love seem limited is not your childhood. It's not what you've gone through in the world and your special relationships. What makes love seem limited is the awareness of the body, being constantly only aware of the body, only being aware of the body, only being aware of the body's senses, only being aware of thinking of yourself as a body. That is what makes love or freedom seem limited. Don't forget now, I've been teaching and learning the Course for almost 40 years. And I'm sharing this with you so that we can save some time. I'm here to save you some time. I've devoted almost 40 years of my life to being a teacher and a learner of A Course in Miracles. so I can save you some time. That's why we're hearing that siren right now, because it's important that we tune in. So I want to ask you to be willing to open your mind and take advantage of the fact that I've been sharing this for so long, because the Course teaches that the purpose of a relationship is to save you time. And I want your relationship with me to save you time. So what do we want to do? We want to remember that it's only the awareness of the body. It's only the awareness of the body that makes love seem limited. Why is it that the awareness of the body makes love seem limited? Well, the awareness of the body makes love seem limited, for the body is a limit on love. So whenever you say the body, you're really talking about a limit on love. So when there's a lesson in the Course in Miracles workbook that says, I am not a body, I am free. I am not a body, I am free. I am not a body, I am free. The Course in Miracles says the body is a limit on love. In the first paragraph, chapter 18, section 8, paragraph 1, says the body is a limit on love. So another term for the body is a limit on love. The body is a limit on love. So when it says, I am not a body, I am free, it's the same as saying, I am not a limit on love, I am free. I am not a body, I am free. It's the same as saying, I am not a limit on love, I am free. The body is a limit on love. Now, the Course in Miracles will bring up resistance, but it says no matter what your reaction to the ideas may be, it says use the idea. Okay, so the idea is the body is a limit on love. Many times people ask, where did the body come from? How did the body originate? The next sentence answers that question. It says the belief in limited love was the body's origin. So the Course in Miracles is saying to us that we are consciousness. It says over and over again, we are not bodies, we are mind. We are mind, we are consciousness, we are spiritual beings. We are spiritual beings. We are not bodies. Course in Miracles students are learning that they are not bodies, that we have bodies as learning devices, but we are not our bodies. So people ask, where did the body come from? The Course in Miracles says the body came from a belief. Like everything else we experience and perceive, everything else that we perceive and experience comes from our belief. So the Course in Miracles says the belief in what created the body. Whenever a person, we believed in limited love, and in believing in limited love, that was where the body came from. The body is a projection of our mind, and the body is a result of a belief in limited love. And the body was made the body was made to limit the unlimited. We are the unlimited. The body was originally made to limit the unlimited. The belief in limited love was the origin of the body. So the body came from the belief in limited love. The body came from the belief that love could be limited. Love is another term in the Course for freedom. Freedom is another term for love. So you could say the belief in limited freedom, the belief that your freedom could be limited, that was the origin of the body. The body was originally made by the part of the mind that wanted to be separate, by the part of the mind that wanted to be separate. The body was made to limit the unlimited. If I want to limit myself, I have to be limited by something. My ego is trying to interfere with my speaking tonight, because what we are doing and what we're talking about is such a threat to the ego that the ego is trying to create a scratchy throat to keep me from saying what I'm saying. So I'm going to do a symbolic gesture of putting something for my throat. Okay, now say it again, because there is no hearing. Because this book starts out kicking butt. It says it's only the awareness of the body that makes love seem limited. It's only the awareness of the body that makes freedom seem limited. Because the body is a limit on love. The body is a limit on love. The belief in love being limited was the origin of the body. The body was originally made to limit you, the unlimited. So it's only body awareness that makes love seem limited. The body is a limit on love. The belief that love could be limited was the origin of the body, because the body was made to limit the unlimited. It is only the awareness of the body that makes love seem limited. The body is a limit on love. The belief that love could be limited was the origin of the body. So the belief that love could be limited was the body's origin. The body was originally made to limit the unlimited. Now, one of the things I want to let you know is the Holy Spirit, the Course in Miracles, says that anything that we have made, including the body, can be used as a lesson in love. It can be used as an aid to help us reach God and love. So even if the body was originally made because we believe that love could be limited, that doesn't mean that the body cannot be used in another way, because the Course teaches that the body is neutral. So the body ultimately is neutral, which means you can use the body to wake up, or you can use the body to go to sleep. You can use the body to increase your awareness, or you can use your body to decrease your awareness. But we're being told that what makes love seem limited is the awareness of the body. And we're also being told that the body is a limit on love, because the body came from the belief that you could limit love. The body was originally made by the ego, by the part of the mind that wanted to be separate, to limit the unlimited. Think not that this is merely allegorical. This is not merely allegorical. This is not merely allegorical. We'll say it one more time. Don't think that what I'm saying is allegorical. The belief in limited love was the origin of the body. The body was made to limit you, the unlimited. Think not that this is merely allegorical, because the body was made to limit you. The body was originally made to limit you. The body was originally made to limit you. The body was originally made to limit you, according to the Course. The part of the mind that wanted to make the body was the part of the mind that believed that love could be limited, which would be the fearful part of the mind. Can you, who see yourself within a body, know yourself as an idea? So, could a person who sees themselves as within a body know themselves as an idea? Can you, who see yourself within a body, know yourself as an idea? That's a great question. Since you see yourself as a body, can you know yourself as an idea? If you see yourself as within a body, can you really know that you are just an idea? So the Course in Miracles is saying something very, very, very radical here. The Course in Miracles is saying, you are not a body, you are an idea. You are not a body, you are an idea. You think you are a body. The Course says, no, you're not a body. What you are is an idea. You are a thought. You are a thought in the mind of God. You are a thought in the mind of love. You are an idea. You are not a body. You are an idea. You are not a body. You are an idea. So can you, who see yourself within a body, know yourself as an idea? Well, no. If I think I'm a body, I don't think of myself as an idea. I think of myself as a body. And often I say in my classes, what is more real, the idea or the form? Let me give you an idea. This Course in Miracles book is a physical form, just like this body is a physical form. If I destroyed this book, could the idea of a Course in Miracles book produce another Course in Miracles book? Could the ideas represented it? Can the ideas behind a Course in Miracles book be used to make another Course in Miracles book? Of course. The idea can produce millions of Course in Miracles books and has, but the books themselves are temporary. So what is realer, the idea or the physical form? And the Course in Miracles is saying, you see yourself as being within a body. And if you're the average person, you will see yourself as being within a body that's born and grows old and dies one day. The Course in Miracles is saying that belief that you can be limited is directly tied to the belief that you are a body and that you are within a body. So it asks the question, can you who see yourself within a body know yourself as an idea? Everything you recognize, you identify with the externals. We identify with things that are outside of ourselves. Something outside of, we identify with things outside of ourselves. Identify with the body. Well, the body is really not really what I am. I identify with things that are outside. Jesus says, everything you recognize, you identify with the externals. That means something outside itself. You can't even think of God without a body. See, even when people think of God, they still probably think of some form. They think of God. As a matter of fact, I believe that the reason why there's such resistance to the idea of God is because when people hear the word God, they think of a man in the sky that they learned as a child that is arbitrarily punishing others for sins or things that they've done wrong. So when you say God, people tend to think of a physical person, a giant, infinitely powerful physical person somewhere. And that's what the Course in Miracles is saying. You cannot even think of God without a body. When you think of God, there's probably some idea of form that you have in your mind when you think of God. In other words, he says you can't even think of God without a body or in some form you think you recognize. You can't even think of God without a body. You can't even think of God unless you think of God in some form you think you could recognize. And we know that God is another term for love. So we can't even think of love without a body. When I think that I want love, I think I want somebody to be giving me love. I want love to come, whether it's a dog, a cat, a person, a house. We think of love as coming through some kind of body. So you can't even think of God without a body, is what the Course in Miracles is saying. And then the Course in Miracles is saying you can't even think of love without a body or in some form you think you recognize. So let's go back and listen to that. That was one paragraph. That was the first paragraph of A Course in Miracles. Isn't that a trip? I tell you, could you imagine somebody just listening to this who never ever heard any of this before? I can imagine it would be a real challenge. But actually, it's not that big of a challenge in a sense because it's just telling us something, but it's telling us something that's very different from the way that we was taught. So let's go back to the points that was made in the first paragraph. Let yourself hear this. Let yourself hear this. It is only the awareness of the body that makes love seem limited. It is only the awareness of the body that makes love seem limited. For the body is the limit on love. For the body is a limit on love. The belief in limited love was its origin. The belief in limited love was the origin of the body, and the body was made to limit the unlimited. 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 Don't think that this is merely allegorical. Don't think that this is merely allegorical, for the body was made to limit you. Originally, the body was made to limit you. Can you who see yourself within a body know yourself as an idea? Can you who see yourself within a body know yourself as an idea? You are an idea in the mind of God. You are a thought in the mind of God. You are an idea in the mind of God. You are a thought in the mind of God. Everything you recognize, you identify with externals. Everything you recognize, you identify with externals, something outside itself. You cannot even think of God without a body. You cannot even think of love without a body, or in some form you think you recognize. You are an idea, you are a thought in the mind of God. So what was the first point? The only thing that makes love seem limited is the awareness of the body. The body is a limit on love. The belief in limited love was the origin of the body. The body was made originally to limit you. You really are an idea, but if you see yourself as a body, you won't know that you are an idea. Everything you recognize, you identify with external, something outside itself. The Course says we can't even think of God as not having a body, or in some form that we think we recognize. Paragraph 2 says, the body cannot know. The body cannot know. The body cannot know. The body doesn't know anything. The body doesn't know anything. I know that may clash with some people's beliefs about the body and the consciousness and awareness of the body. The Course in Miracles says the body cannot know. It's the mind that knows. It's not the body that knows. It's the mind that knows. The body cannot know. And while you limit your awareness to its tainted senses, you will not see the grandeur, the abundance, and the love that surrounds you. So why is it that we don't see the love that surrounds us? Why is it that a person doesn't see the love that surrounds them? The Course in Miracles says that a person doesn't see their grandeur and the abundance that surrounds them because they are seeing things and everything only through the tainted senses of the body. If you're looking at everything through your body's physical senses, then there's a lot you don't know. If you only believe in what you see through your physical senses, you can't really know, and you can't really be certain about anything if you limit your awareness to the tainted senses of the body. You cannot know. You cannot be certain about anything. You're missing a lot. If you only trust what you see through your senses, you won't see the love that surrounds you. God cannot come into a body. God is everything. God is love. God is unlimited love. Unlimited love. God cannot come into a body. God is all that is. God is everything. Everything can't possibly come into a body. All that is cannot possibly come into a body, and God is all that is. And you can't join all that is in a body, so you can't join him there. God can't come into a body, nor can you join God in a body. As a matter of fact, limits on love, limited love will always shut God out. Limited love will always seem to shut love out. Don't forget, the Course in Miracles is only talking about love or fear. That's it. It's trying to teach us the difference between truth and illusion. It's trying to teach us the difference between love and fear. So what did it just tell us? Well, it just told us that you will not be able to see everything that's happening through the body's tainted senses. That if you limit your awareness to thinking that you are just a body and just using the body's senses, the Course in Miracles says you won't see the grandeur that surrounds you. You won't see the abundance that surrounds you. You won't see the unlimited love that surrounds you. If you limit your awareness to the tainted senses of the body, you will not see the grandeur and abundance and tremendous love that is surrounding you. God, which is unlimited love, cannot come into a body. God is all that is. The universe cannot come into a body. nor can you join God, which is love in the universe, there in a body. Limits on love will always seem to shut God and love out and keep you apart from God. So, what is it that seems to keep us apart from God? What is it that seems to keep us apart from love? The Course in Miracles says what seems to keep you apart from God is having a limited idea about love. Limiting love will always shut God out because God is love. If you limit love, you're shutting love out. And so that keeps you apart from love. Love cannot come into a body. Love is what is unlimited. Specialness can come into a body. The ego can seem to come into a body. Fear can seem to come into a body. But God, love, real love, cannot come into a body nor join God there. Then the Course in Miracles says, as an example, it says, the body is a tiny fence. So your body is a fence. If you were to think of your body as a tiny fence around you, a little part of a glorious and complete idea. So what you are is a glorious and complete idea. You are a glorious and complete idea. And it looks like you are a glorious and complete idea that's fenced off within this body. It looks like I'm in this body, but I'm really a glorious and complete idea. So you are the body. Everything that happens in the mind. Everything that happens in the mind. Everything that happens according to the Course in Miracles happens in the mind. The body is just a medium of learning. The body is something like if you put glasses on and you're looking out through glasses, the glasses aren't you, but the glasses can affect the way that you are perceiving things. But just remember this, keep it simple, keep it simple. There is only mind, there is only consciousness. That's it. The body doesn't perceive, it's you that's perceiving. And you're using your body as a means of perceiving. There's only the mind, there's only spirit, there's only consciousness. That's it. The body doesn't last, the body doesn't last, the body doesn't last, the body isn't permanent. And according to the Course in Miracles, the only thing that's real is what is permanent. The only thing that's real is what is eternal. Keep it simple. If it's permanent, then it's real. If it's temporary, then it's not. The ego will always, perception, and remember, perception is learning. Perception is interpretation. So whenever you perceive, you are just looking at the interpretations and the meanings that you've given things. Let me give you a quick example. If you see, I'm going to use this book again. You are calling this a book because you learned to call it a book. You're perceiving this book because you learned to perceive it this way. This is what you were taught this is. If you were taught this was an orange, you'd be calling it an orange that Earl is holding in his hands. Remember, perception is an illusion. Perception is learning. Perception is just concepts. So, the body is a tiny fence around a little part of a glorious and complete idea. The body then draws a circle, an infinitely small circle, around a little segment of heaven. That's what you are. You are a little segment of heaven. But it looks like you've been splintered from the whole. And this little part that you think of as you that's been splintered from the whole, the Course in Miracles says you're proclaiming that within it is your kingdom where God cannot enter. There's a part of the mind that thinks it's separate, that's inside a body, that thinks it's splintered off from the whole, and proclaiming that within it is your kingdom where God can't enter. I think I've created a reality. I think I've created something that God cannot enter. Therefore, I think I'm separate and I think I'm on my own. Don't let the simplicity of the Course elude you. Don't let your ego fool you to make you think that what you're hearing is very complicated. It's not. What's permanent is real. What's temporary isn't. What is eternal is what's real, which is love. What's temporary isn't. So when the Course in Miracles says something is not real, it just means something is not permanent. Something is not eternal. It's not saying that you don't have the experience of perceiving the body as real. The body proves its own reality to you. It provides you with the hands you touch the body with. So just remember that the point that's being made is that as long as you limit your awareness to the body's senses, you won't see the grandeur and abundance of love that surrounds you. The next thing that it told us was that God, which is love, which is all that is, the universe cannot come into a body, nor can you join the oneness, nor can you join the universe, God, and unlimited spirit in a body. Also, it tells us that limits on love will always seem to shut God or love out. If I limit my love, it really shuts love out and keeps me apart from love. And the thing that came to my mind when I was looking at that was that it says a lot about the special love relationship. The Course in Miracles says the special love relationship is the chief weapon that our fearful, separate mind, the ego, uses to keep us separate from heaven, which is reality and real love. Because the very basis of a special love relationship, the way that we do it, is to limit love only to one person and to make the love exclusive. So what we don't know is that when we go for an exclusive love, we're actually shutting love out. An exclusive love actually is shutting love out, and it's actually keeping you separate from what love really is. Think about that. We think when we get in a relationship and we have exclusive love, that means now we have something that's a real love. Of Course in Miracles is shattering that. It's saying, no, actually, whenever you have limits, whenever you put limits on love, you're actually shutting God out, which means you're actually shutting real love out, and you're keeping yourself apart from real love. That's why there's so much fear and jealousy and insecurity in special love relationships, because a special love relationship based on limited love is actually shutting love out. And if you're shutting love out, that doesn't leave anything but fear, because there's only what? Love or fear. Then, what else did the Course in Miracles tell us? It says, well, the body is a tiny fence around you. You are a glorious and complete idea, but you think you're separate from the whole. And so you think it's within this body that you're experiencing your kingdom, where the truth or God cannot enter. That's a very, very powerful, powerful paragraph. I told you that this section was a trip. So Alita says, like an idol, it keeps us from connecting with God. Diana says, unconditional love. Wanda says, if you don't share, you're not sharing. And that's right. If you don't share, you're not sharing. Demola says, what an upside down thinking. We have all been dealing with special relationships. We can choose again. And that's right. Don't ever forget, we can choose again. It makes sense now. Sherry says, total unconditional love. Nana, stop analyzing. Stop analyzing. Stop analyzing. Let me invite you to stop analyzing right now and just let yourself hear it. You're lost because you're analyzing it right now, in my perception. I thought the real is what is in the right part of my mind and has the thought of the body within it. Right now, what you want to do, Nana, you want to focus on what you hear that you resonate with and does make sense to you, and let go of everything that doesn't make sense to you. It's your ego trying to confuse you by getting you to focus in on what you do not understand. That's a trick. Trust me, the Course in Miracles says your understanding is not a powerful contribution to the truth. It doesn't make the truth true because you understand it. It's the only point that's being made right now is if you limit love, then you cannot know what unconditional love is. Your body was made originally because it is a sign of limited love. The Course is saying in this paragraph that you are an idea and the body appears to be a tiny fence around the part of you that thinks you are separate. Remember, you want to concentrate on hearing what we're being told, not necessarily, you don't have to believe it, You don't have to welcome it. You don't have to accept it. All you need to do at this point is allow yourself to hear it. So I'll say it again. It's only the awareness of the body that makes love seem limited. If a person thinks that they are a body, then it's going to seem like love is limited in their experience, that it's not unconditional, that it's not everywhere. Then we were told that the body is a limit on love. Love is freedom. The body is a limit on love. The body is a limit on freedom. Then the Course in Miracles says that the belief that love could be limited was the origin of the body, and that the body was originally made to limit the unlimited. Next, it was telling us that the body was originally made to limit you. Of course, I mean, just think about it for a minute. Thinking that you are inside the body, there's definitely a big limit on things you can do and things you cannot do. And the Course in Miracles then said, you are an idea. You are a thought. You are not a body. But if you see yourself as a body, he says, how can you know yourself as an idea? And that we've been totally taught to identify with everything outside of ourselves. Then it says that we can't even conceive of God except in some form that we think we can see or understand and recognize. Then the Course told us that, do you know that the body cannot know? It's not the body that knows, it's you that knows. It's not your car that knows, it's you that's driving your car that knows. And then we were told that while you limit your awareness to the tiny senses of the body, while you think that the only thing is real is what you can see with your physical senses, he says you won't see all of the love and all of the abundance that surrounds you. And then the Course in Miracles says God can't come into a body. God is that which is unlimited. And that which is unlimited, that which is all that is, cannot come into a body, nor can you join unlimited love in a body, because whenever you limit love, whenever you limit your freedom, you will always shut love out. You will always shut God out. Whenever you limit love, it will keep you apart from God. It will keep you apart from love. And then the Course in Miracles defines the body as a fence around a glorious idea. That's right, you are a glorious idea, and it looks like you are in a body and the body surrounds you. And it looks like sometimes love can't enter where you are. That's what it looks like. So now he says within this kingdom, the ego rules. So within this kingdom of separation, within this body, it looks like fear rules. Don't forget, the ego is another term for the fearful separate self, the part of the mind that thinks it's separate. He says within this kingdom, the ego rules, and it rules cruelly. And to defend this little speck of dust, the body, your ego bids you fight against the universe. So the ego is this fragment of your mind. The ego is a fragment of your mind that's such a tiny part of your mind. The ego, the part of you that thinks you're separate, the part of you that thinks that it's listening and watching this right now. When it talks about the little fragment of your mind, that little tiny part, it's talking about us. It's talking about you. It's talking about me. We're the ones who think we're in the body. We're the ones who think that we're separate. So this is talking about us. When it says this fragment of your mind is such a tiny part of your mind, could you but appreciate your whole self? You would see instantly that this little fragment of your mind is like the smallest sunbeam to the sun. It's like the faintest ripple on the surface of the ocean. And do you know that in your ego's amazing arrogance, this tiny sunbeam, this has decided it is the sun. This almost imperceptible ripple hails itself as the ocean. Think how alone and frightened is this little thought. Think about how much fear there is in the world, and how many people think that they are alone, and how many people think they are frightened. That's what the Course is saying. Think how alone and frightened is this little thought that I'm separate, which is an infinitesimal illusion holding itself apart and against the universe. Now, I know this is deep, but that's what the hardcore Course in Miracles is. It's deep, all right? It's not meant to be talking at a beginner's level. It is deep. But if we get through this particular section, then when we get into the later paragraphs, it will elaborate more on what it's saying. So, just be patient. Just be patient. Cool the ego out, cool the analytical mind out, and just be patient and trust that Jesus is going to explain what he's talking about. Okay? So it says, think how alone and frightened is this little thought, this infinitesimal illusion holding itself apart against the universe. That's what we're looking at, folks. That's what we're looking at, mighty companions, every day. We're looking at glorious ideas that are in bodies that think they are alone and think that they are frightened and think that they're up against all of everything that's going on in the world. The Course says, in other words, the sun has become the sunbeam's enemy that would devour it. The ocean looks like it's terrifying the little ripple and wants to swallow it. Yet neither sun nor ocean is even aware of all this strange and meaningless activity. The sun and the ocean merely continue aware that the sun and the ocean merely continue unaware that they are feared and hated by a tiny segment of themselves. God continues as the unlimited love that God is, and God is not aware that you fear God or hate God. I often have said in my counseling, when people feel guilt about not believing in God or hating God or being angry at God, I always remind them, God is totally unaware. Love is totally unaware that you fear it and that you hate it. Love just loves. If all I'm going to do is love you, and if all I'm going to do is love you no matter what, then it doesn't matter what you think about me. If I'm not going to change the way that I treat you, it doesn't matter how you feel about me. If I'm only going to give you love, it doesn't matter whether you hate me or don't like me or mad at me, because of what? It's not going to change anything about what I'm going to give you. If I'm going to give you love and only love and you a part of me, then it doesn't matter what you think about me. It's not going to change anything. And that's what it says here in paragraph 4. Even that segment, the part of you that thinks you're separate from God, even that segment is not lost to the ocean and the sun, because it could not survive apart from the ocean and sun. You could not survive separate from God. You could not survive separate from God. You could not survive separate from life. You could not survive separate from love. Do you know that you wouldn't even be here even trying to understand what this is talking about if there wasn't something sustaining you? So God, life, is sustaining you regardless of what you think about it. You wouldn't even exist if God wasn't sustaining you right now. I wouldn't even exist if God wasn't sustaining me right now. Just like Kim just said, God doesn't give a hoot about what you think about God. Love doesn't give a hoot about what you think about it. Love just loves. Love is. God is. It's fear that's always, it's a frightened mind that's always trying to decide whether or not it's going to love somebody or not. A conscious mind, a loving mind, isn't concerned about whether or not it's going to love somebody because they didn't do something that they thought it should do. The truth is, even that segment is not lost to them, for it could not survive apart from them. And what it thinks, which is the same as saying, what you think you are, is in no way changes your total dependence on the ocean or the sun for your being. So it doesn't matter. He says, and what it thinks it is, in no way what changes its total dependence on the sun or the ocean for its being. I don't care what I think I am, I'm still totally dependent on God. I don't care what you think you are, you're still totally dependent on God for your existence. I don't care what you totally think about God. Doesn't matter what you think about God. Doesn't matter what you think about the truth. You're still totally dependent on the Creator for your being. its whole existence still remains in them. Your whole existence still remains in God. Without the sunbeam would be gone. The ripple without the ocean is inconceivable. So, without God, the child of God would be gone. Without love, the child of love would be gone. Without God, you would be gone. You could not exist without God. The ripple without the ocean is inconceivable. The ripple without the ocean is inconceivable. This is so deep. This is so deep. This is so deep. This is so deep. So take a breath. Take a breath. Here we go. Take a breath. Do you know, do you know, do you know, do you know? Neither sun nor ocean is even aware of all the strange and meaningless activity. The sun and the ocean merely continue unaware that they are feared and hated by a tiny segment of themselves. Even that segment is not lost to them, for it could not survive apart from them, and what it thinks it is in no way changes its total dependence on them for its being. The ripple and the sunbeam, its whole existence still remains in them. In other words, without the sun, the sunbeam would be gone. Without the sun, the sunbeam would be gone. The ripple without the ocean is inconceivable. You without God would be gone. You without your Creator would be gone. The ripple without the ocean is inconceivable. You are like the sunbeam to the sun and the ripple to the ocean. That's right, Marina. No respect, but the Course does not muck around. That's right, Nana. Keep breathing. Diana says, neither sun nor ocean is even aware of this strange and meaningless activity. Beautiful, mighty companion Earl. Beautiful, mighty companion Diana. Susan says, without the sun, the sunbeam would be gone. The heart is open, wide awake now. CJ says, I would be gone without God. And Kim says, without the moon, there is no moonshine. So I know, let's go deeper. Are y'all with me? Are you willing to go deeper? Let's go deeper. Because now the Course is going to elaborate on what it just said, okay? That's what I mean when I say, if you keep on reading, when you're studying the Course already knows what your reactions are going to be to what you're reading. So if a person would not stop and analyze the Course, but just keep on moving forward reading it, Jesus would answer the questions that comes up. So, such is the strange position in which those in a world inhabited by bodies seem to be. In other words, such is the strange position in which we seem to be, because we look like we are in a world inhabited by bodies. It looks like we're in a world inhabited by bodies. It looks like each body seems to house a separate mind, right? Doesn't it look like each body has a separate mind in it? And the Course defines that as a disconnected thought, living alone and in no way joined to the thought by which it was created. Each body seems to house a separate mind, a disconnected thought, living alone and in no way joined to the thought by which it was created. It looks like my body has a separate mind in it from yours, which the Course defines as a disconnected thought. Looks like it's living alone. Looks like I'm living alone. Looks like I'm in no way joined to the thought by which I was created. I don't know about you, but it looks like I'm in a body separate from you. It feels like I'm in a body separate from you. It looks like I'm in a body and that my separate mind is in this body. That's what it looks like. It looks like I have a separate mind in this body. It looks like you have a separate mind in your body. And the Course calls that a disconnected thought living alone. And it looks like we're in no way joined to the thought of God, the mind of God by which we were created. So each tiny fragment, right, seems to be self-contained. It looks like I'm self-contained, needing another for some things. That's right. It looks like I'm self-contained and I need others for some things, but by no means totally dependent on this one creator for everything. It does look like I'm not totally dependent on my one creator for everything, and it looks like I need other people for some things. It looks like I'm a tiny fragment inside of a body that's self-contained, that needs another for some things, but by no means totally dependent on God for everything, needing the whole to give me any meaning, for by myself I do not mean anything. So I don't even have a life apart and by myself. See, what I'm doing as I go through this, I realize that the Course in Miracles is talking about us. It's talking about us. It says, such is the strange position in which those in a world inhabited by bodies seem to be. Doesn't it look like we're in a world inhabited by bodies? Yes. It looks like you are in a body. It looks like you have a separate mind in a body, which the Course defines as a disconnected thought. It looks like you're living alone in the body. It doesn't look like you're joined to God by which you were created in the body. It looks like you're self-contained. It looks like you need some people for some things. It looks like you're not totally dependent on your one creator for everything. It looks like you don't need the whole and the oneness to give you any meaning. But the Course says, by yourself, you do mean nothing. In separation, you do mean nothing. And you don't have a life separate and by itself. You depend on everything in order to survive. Whoa. Such is the strange position in which those in a world inhabited by bodies seem to be. What is the strange position in which those in a world inhabited by bodies seem to be? It looks like each body seems to house a separate mind, a disconnected thought, living alone and in no way joined to the thought by which it was created. It looks like each tiny fragment seems to be self-contained. It looks like we need another for some things. It looks like we're by no means totally dependent on our one creator for everything, needing the whole to give us any meaning. For by ourselves we do mean nothing. By ourselves separate we do mean nothing. And we don't have a life apart and by ourselves. You don't have a life apart and separate from all that is. You don't have any meaning separate from all that is. It's what the Course in Miracles is telling us now. And then it says, like to the sun and ocean, your self continues. Your real self continues, unmindful that this little tiny part that you call you, it's just like to the sun and ocean, your self continues, unmindful that this tiny part regards itself as you, the whole. This tiny part that you think of as you is not missing. This tiny part that you think of as you couldn't exist if it were separate, nor would the whole be whole without you. You are not a separate kingdom ruled by an idea of separation from the rest, nor does offense the body surround you, preventing you from joining with the rest and keeping you apart from your creator. This little aspect that you think of as your separate self is no different from the whole, being continuous with the whole and at one with the whole. This little separate self that you think of as you, it leads no separate life because its life is the oneness in which its being was created. Now let's go back and hear that paragraph again. When you read the Course, it's talking about you. It's talking about the part of you that thinks you're separate. The part of you that thinks you are a body, the part of you that thinks you are a man or a woman, the part of you that believes that you are the roles that you're playing in the world. He's talking to us directly. And what is he saying to us? Like to the sun and ocean, your real self, your one self continues, totally unaware that this little tiny part regards itself as the whole you. This little tiny part that's called Earl Purdy, it is not my whole self. And I'm not missing. I'm not missing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do this in the first person. It will make it even easier. Like to the sun and ocean, myself continues, unmindful that this little tiny pod that's called Earl Purdy regards itself as me. I am not missing. I am not missing. I couldn't exist if I were separate, nor would the whole be whole without me. I am not a separate kingdom, ruled by an idea of separation from the rest, nor does offense, the body, really surround me, preventing me from joining with the rest and keeping me apart from my Creator. This little aspect that thinks it's separate is no different from the whole. I'm being continuous with the whole, and I am at one with the whole. I lead no separate life. I lead no separate life because my life is the oneness in which my being was created. Woo! Woo! So the Course in Miracles is telling us the truth about what's going on with us right now. And I'll say it again with rhythm so that we can let it in our minds. Let me tell you what we were just told. Let me tell you what we were just told. Like to the sun and ocean, yourself continues. Like to the sun and ocean, yourself continues. Unmindful that this tiny part regards itself as you. Unmindful that this tiny part regards itself as you. You are not missing. You could not exist. If you were separate, you could not exist. You are not missing. Nor would the whole be whole without you. Nor would the oneness be one without you. You are not a separate kingdom, ruled by an idea of separation from the rest. You are not a separate kingdom, ruled by an idea of separation from the rest. Nor does a fence surround you, preventing you from joining with the rest. Nor does a body surround you, preventing you from joining with the rest and keeping you apart from your Creator. And keeping you apart from your Creator. Your little aspect is no different from the whole. Your little aspect is no different from the whole. Being continuous with the whole and at one with it. Let me tell you, you lead no separate life because your life is the oneness. Your life is the oneness in which your being was created. Your life is the oneness in which your being was created. You lead no separate life. 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 That's right, Nana. The ego hates simplicity because simplicity is the undoing of fear. It's the undoing of the ego. Greg, that's right. We have to dance the night away. I cannot just be intellectual because the Course in Miracles speaks to the heart. Rhythm speaks to the heart. It bypasses the intellect only. Even though the Course has plenty of those for those who are intellectuals, let me tell you. So, let's go to the next paragraph. The next paragraph says, do not accept this little fenced off aspect of yourself. Do not accept what? This little fenced off aspect as your whole self. Your little separate self is not your whole self. This little separate self is not my whole self. The sun and the ocean are as nothing beside what you are. What you are is greater than the sun and the ocean. The Course in Miracles says what we are is greater than the sun and the ocean. It says the sun and ocean are as nothing beside what you are. The sunbeam sparkles only in the sunlight. The ripple dances as it rests upon the ocean. Yet neither sun nor ocean is the power that rests in you. You have more power than the sun. You have more power than the ocean. Who you really are, what you really are, has more power than the sun and more power than the ocean. What you really are, who you really are, has more power than the sun and more power than the ocean. It says it right here in paragraph 7. Yet in neither sun nor ocean is the power that rests in you. Would you remain within your tiny kingdom? Would you remain within this little small belief in what you are? A sorry king or queen, a bitter ruler of all that you survey, who looks on nothing. What you're looking on is stuff that is going to fade away. What you're looking at and trying to rule over and what you're so concerned about is nothing, an illusion that will not last, that is going to fade away. He says, would you remain within your tainted kingdom, a sorry king, a bitter ruler of all that you surveys, who looks on nothing, yet who would still die to defend it? This little self is not your kingdom. This little self is not your reality. The ego is not your kingdom. The ego is not your reality. Arch high above your ego self and surrounding your little separate self with love is the glorious whole, the glorious oneness, which offers all its happiness and deep content to every part. The little aspect that you think you set apart as you is no exception. You are surrounded with the love of God, which is offering all its happiness and deep contentment to you. And the you that you think you are, the little separate self that you think you are, the little aspect that you think you set apart is no exception. Like Craig says, Holy Spirit, I ask you to remind me who I am, the power that I am, and am a witness to whenever again I go acting like a fool. That's a great prayer. The Mola says we are surrounded by the infinite and endless love of God. So, and it's the repetition, because we already know this. We just need to keep reminding ourselves of it and reminding ourselves of it and reminding ourselves of it until we remember what we already know. The purpose of the Course is to remind us of who we really are, to remind us of who we really are, to remind us of who we really are until we remember it. The whole process is a remembering process, not an analytical process. It's a remembering process. And that's why I do the repetition, because after all these years, I know that there is nothing more important than remembering what we're being told if you want to experience miracles. Your understanding is not a powerful contribution to the truth according to the Course, but remembering the Course is. Take a breath. Do not accept this little fenced-off aspect as yourself. Do not accept the little ego as your whole self. The sun and the moon are nothing beside what you are. The sun and the ocean are as nothing beside what you are. Now remember this, the sunbeam sparkles only in the sunlight, and the ripple dances as it rests upon the ocean. The sunbeam sparkles only in the sunlight, and the ripple dances as it rests upon the ocean. Yet in neither sun nor ocean is the power that rests in you. Do you hear me now? Neither sun nor ocean is the power that rests in you. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Would you remain within your tainted kingdom? A sorry king, a sorry queen, a bitter ruler of all that you survey, who looks on nothing, yet who would still die to defend it? Would you remain within your tainted kingdom, a sorry king, a bitter ruler of all that you survey, who looks on nothing, yet who would still die to defend it? Would you remain that this little self is not your kingdom? Your ego is not your kingdom. Arch high above it, surrounding it with love, is the glorious whole, which offers all its happiness and deep content to every part. This little aspect that you think you set apart is no exception. You are surrounded by the love of God. You are surrounded by the love of God. You are surrounded by the love of God. All right. Let me do the final paragraph that we're going to do this evening before I do a quick review. Paragraph 8, chapter 18, section 8, paragraph 8 says, love knows no bodies and reaches to everything created like itself. Love reaches to love. Love reaches out to love. Love goes beyond the body. If you are only loving somebody because of the way their body looks, you are not loving them. I'll say it again. Love overlooks the body. Love overlooks the body. Love overlooks the form. Love knows no bodies. Love knows no bodies. Real love goes beyond appearances. Real love goes beyond form. Love knows no bodies. Love reaches to everything created like love. Love reaches to everything created like love. Its total lack of limit is its meaning. Love's total lack of limit is love's meaning. What makes it love is that it's unlimited. What makes love love is its unlimited nature. Its total lack of limit is its meaning. So what is love? Well, love is completely impartial in its giving. See, that's how I know that in the world we're not doing what love is, and in specialness we're not doing what love is, because love is completely impartial in its giving. Love doesn't give more to one than to another. Love gives to all equally. Love gives equally. Love gives equally. Real love gives equally. Real love is completely impartial in its giving, encompassing only to preserve and keep complete what it would give. In your tiny kingdom, in your tiny reality, you have so little. Should it not then be there in your tiny reality, your kingdom, that you would call on love to enter? Shouldn't you call on love to enter your reality? Call on love to enter your little kingdom. Look at the desert, dry and unproductive, scorched and joyless, that makes up your little kingdom. But what is it that you should realize? You should realize the life and joy that love would bring to your little kingdom, from where love comes and where love would return with you. Love doesn't know any bodies. Love reaches only to love. Love has no limits whatsoever. Love gives impartially, equally to everyone. Love only wants to preserve love. Love only wants to keep complete what it would give. And we were told, is it not in our little kingdom we have so little? Shouldn't it be within our kingdom, our lives, that we would call on love to enter? I call on love to enter my life. I call on love to enter my kingdom. I call on love to enter my life. I call on love to enter my life. I call on love to enter my life. Love, enter my life. Love, enter my kingdom. Love, enter my life. Love, enter my kingdom. Love, enter my life. Love, enter my kingdom. Love, enter my relationships. Love, enter my life. Love, enter my relationships. Love, enter me. Should it not be in your reality, in your kingdom, that you would call on love to enter? Look at your kingdom that has limited love that comes and goes. And it says, realize the life and joy that love would bring to your life from where it comes and where it would return with you. This was such a deep section. And I'm going to do a quick review of this part in just a minute. But first, I want to thank you for being here in the Hardcore Course in Miracles class. I know it's intense. I know it's hardcore. And you are awesome, mighty companions, for being willing to let yourself hear this and joining me in this. I am a full-time teacher of God. This is what I do in the world. It is my calling. And I would love it if you would make a financial expression of appreciation if you feel so moved by the Holy Spirit to support my teaching ministry. If you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, go to www.earlpurdy.com, P-U-R-D-Y, earlpurdy.com. I am also available for one-on-one sessions, counseling sessions, working with you sessions to allow you to see how you can apply these principles to your personal life and what's going on in your life to allow the healing of God and love to come through in your life right now. And for those who are open to it and open to more intuitive awareness, I've also been an astrologer and numerologist for over 40 years also. And the Holy Spirit uses all of our skills as a way for us to reach awakening. And for those who are open to it, I also include my knowledge of that. Whatever you're using to cause yourself pain, I can work with you. I have been working with literally thousands of people. So you can get past what you're going through. You can wake up. You can go deeper. And I'm here to help you do that. It's called a clarity session. Go to my website, earlpurdy.com, www.earlpurdy.com. And you can find out more about it. I am going to continue to do these live Facebook live broadcasts. I do a Hardcore Course in Miracles at 7 p.m. Mountain Time every Thursday, a Course in Miracles class at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on Sunday, and the Way of Mastery is another Facebook live class I do at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. You can watch these broadcasts whether you're on Facebook or not by going to www.facebook.com/Earl Purdy Live. All you do is go to this link, www.facebook.com/Earl Purdy Live. And you can watch these broadcasts. Watch them more than once. Watch and listen to this more than once. Wow, you're such blessings in my life. So let's take this last paragraph and let's bring this home in a quick review. Here we go. Don't forget that the body was originally made to make you think you were limited and to limit you to a body. But now you're going to use your body to help you wake up. You are not a body. You are an idea. You are an idea in the mind of God. You are an idea in the mind of God. You are an idea in the mind of God, an idea in the mind of God. Love knows no bodies, love knows no bodies, love knows no bodies, and reaches to everything created like itself. Love knows no bodies, love knows no bodies, it reaches to everything created like itself. Love's total lack of limit is love's meaning. I say, love's total lack of limit is love's meaning. Is love's meaning. Love is completely impartial in its giving, encompassing only to preserve and keep complete what it would give, what it would give, what it would give. In your tiny kingdom, in your tiny kingdom, you have so little, you have so little. Should it not then be in your tiny kingdom that you would call on love to enter? Look at the desert, dry and unproductive, scorched and joyless, that makes up your little kingdom, and realize the life and joy that love would bring to your kingdom, from where love comes and where love would return with you. Call on love to enter. Call on love to enter. I call on love to enter. I call on love to enter. I call on love to enter. That's it. We call on love to enter. 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 I call on love to enter. I call on love. I call on love to enter. I call on love to enter. Mighty companions, I love you, I love you, I love you, I appreciate you, I appreciate you, I appreciate you. We call on love to enter, we call on love to enter, call on love to enter. Listen to this over and over again. Call on love to enter, call on love to enter. You're mighty companions, you're awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining with me. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your interaction. We call on love to enter. I love you, mighty companions. We'll join with you and see you soon.